Kansas City is favored by a field goal at home this weekend against New England, and I'm reading stories about, Andy Reid's only 2-6 against Belichick. It should be noted, Belichick has coached 342 games in the NFL, and 7 times he's surrendered 40 points. Andy Reid's got 3 of those. Andy Reid's given him trouble. In Kansas City, he's 2-2, 2 blowout wins, and 2 very narrow losses, including a game in New England earlier this year. There were moments you thought they were going to win that football game. So he's 2-2 against Belichick. He's outscored New England and Belichick since he arrived in Kansas City. This is not a coaching disparity. Andy Reid's, in my opinion, as good a coach as the NFL's ever had that has not won a Super Bowl. In fact, I think he and Don Coryell, who coached the Chargers for over a decade, are the 2 great coaches in the NFL, Marv Levy perhaps, that don't have a Super Bowl. And the gap between what fans and many media think of Andy Reid and what executives in the league do is the Grand Canyon. He, along with Sean McVay and Sean Payton, are the 3 best play designers in the NFL. He's got a tremendous eye for personnel. He's considered the best teacher. Every player with Andy Reid gets better. Quarterbacks get better. Quarterbacks play their best. His coaching tree is phenomenal. But in sports, if you don't win a Super Bowl, you get dinged. I get it. Marv Levy got dinged. Eric Coryell's not considered a Don Shula because he got close, could not win a Super Bowl, and Andy gets dinged. I will say this, though, and I love Andy. He's got to win this weekend. Okay, there's 5 advantages for Kansas City going in. Number 1, they're at home. Go look the last 5 years in the NFL. Home matters a ton at this point in the season. Number 2, they've got an MVP at quarterback, playing his butt off. He is not at a debit to Tom Brady. Number 3, they have a significantly better offensive roster in an offensive league. They had 7 players make the Pro Bowl, 4 all pros, which is the real list. The other thing that I think are advantages for Kansas City is, number 4, is the Patriots are coming off virtually a perfect performance. You almost never see it in the NFL. In fact, one of my rules when I do my Blazing 5 is, who was great last weekend? They generally come down to earth. Who was terrible last weekend? They usually go back to their normal spot. New England played the best football game I've seen them play ever in their dynasty against a talented team. They did everything perfectly. New England was perfect. You don't duplicate that in the NFL. And number 5 is they have an extra day of rest and preparation. You don't think buys matter? An extra day for Andy Reid and that staff to find some tells, to you throw in a couple more play designs. It's an advantage. Perhaps not huge, but there's 5 advantages. And here's the thing to come full circle. There are people that I have supported. Jim Harbaugh, for instance. I've supported Jim Harbaugh. And I've said Ohio State's a better football program historically than Michigan. Michigan's a great university that has football. Ohio State's a great football program that has a university. Ohio State's a better football program. Okay? Bottom line here is Jim Harbaugh has to win now because Urban Meyer retired. This year, I'm going to be rough on Jim Harbaugh. He's got to win the Big Ten. You can't have Ryan Day beat you. Giannis. I've been hearing for 6 years how great Giannis is. LeBron left the East. You now have to win multiple playoff series and get to the Eastern Conference Finals. If 60 Minutes is going to do pieces on Giannis being the next great star in the league, LeBron's out of the East. You have to get to the Eastern Conference Finals, and you probably need to win it. Sorry if you can't beat Victor Oladipo and the Pacers, Al Horford and the Celtics. LeBron did by himself. You have good players in Milwaukee, a legit coach, good GM, win the East. And the third is Andy Reid. At home, MVP quarterback, superior personnel. New England coming off a game you cannot duplicate in this league. It doesn't happen, and you have an extra day. And he's got to win this weekend. And I've never felt that. I think there's a lot of big games. But this is one, if Andy loses, I can't come on the air Monday and go, come on. These critics, it'll be like, all right, they looked a little tight. All right, they blew it. For the record, Patriots have 12 draft picks and are in a much weaker division than Kansas City. Okay, so Kansas City is not going 14-2 and 13-3 the rest of the way. At some point, they got to pay some of these guys. And secondly, their division's really good. New England's going to win 12 games next year. You do get that, right? Sam Darnold may knock him off once with Adam Gase, Greg Williams, great special teams coach, but they're going to win 13 games, 12 games again next year. And he's got to win this weekend.